Part 1. The She-Wolf Knocks. This story is for the woman who has a career, the house, the resume that makes people envious. Maybe the relationship, the children, the workout routine that she hasn't missed in years. She has checked all the boxes, hit the milestones, and kept herself together through things that were too hard or scary for others. And still, somewhere around 3 a.m., staring into the ceiling on Tuesday night, or in the middle of a presentation, she feels an ache, a quiet emptiness, a sense that the woman who used to feel the thrill of life inside of her has gone very, very quiet. What you're about to hear in this book is not advice. It is a story. And the woman you're about to meet is not you. And yet, she may be the most honest part of you that you have ever encountered. Find a quiet place. Let's begin. Ancient tradition across cultures speak of a wild woman who lives inside every woman, untamed, intuitional, and deeply wise. She isn't afraid of mess, or pain, or being alone. She knows when to growl and when to heal. She is a part of you that still remembers what you wanted before you focused on what everyone else needs. But over the decades, we trained to be socially agreeable and convenient. And so this part of us is driven deep inside into the quiet corner for its impracticality. And now, when days become predictably familiar, the wild part of us begins to knock from within. Softly, persistently. She is not a myth. She is a part of you that knew the job was wrong 6 months before you admitted it. The part that tensed without reason during a perfectly pleasant conversation. The part that wept without warning at something beautiful, and you didn't know why. Sylvia ran a team of 12, hit every quarterly target, and remembered everyone's birthday. She smiled at her colleagues, filed her reports, and lived the way you're supposed to. In the evenings, she turned on the TV so she wouldn't have to sit in silence. One night, walking home, she saw a dog. Thin, dirty, with eyes that held something feral and strangely clear. The dog didn't run. It stood there and looked directly at her. She offered some food. The animal didn't take it. It only looked at her and then disappeared into the dark. Sylvia stood there for a moment, staring into the place where it had gone. And something inside of her understood that it wasn't just a dog. It was a reminder of the part of her that has got lost, somewhere between her first promotion and her 40th birthday. That night, she didn't sleep. She lay in the dark and remembered things she hadn't thought about in years. Running barefoot through the grass as a girl, cleaning without caring whether she was in tune, drawing for hours without asking whether she was good enough, climbing trees, staring into the sky, picking flowers. And for the first time in years, she wanted to cry from that recognition. The tears came the way spring comes, slowly, and then all at once. And in that thawing, the she-wolf woke up. The wild soul doesn't destroy without purpose. It burns away what makes it hard to breathe. Sometimes that's a relationship. Sometimes that's a career without meaning or excitement. Sometimes it's an idea that you have to do everything right, always right, right above everything. And if you let those feelings move through you, you begin to change. After months of quiet unraveling, Sylvie resigned because she simply understood that she could no longer live someone else's life at her expense. She started painting, hesitantly at first, standing in front of a blank canvas, like standing in front of a mirror she hadn't looked into in years. And she wasn't sure if she was ready for what she might find. The paintings were strange. Faces half-formed, wolves, moonlight, dark forests. Some mornings she would finish one and sit on the floor and not know what she felt. Something that hurts the way girls hurts. In the chest, in the palms, in the places where you have held yourself closed for a long time. But there was something alive in each of those paintings. People began to buy them, unable to explain why. There is something in them, they said. Yes, in them was Sylvia herself, alive. One evening, she saw the dog again. This time it didn't look lost. Sylvia crouched down and held her hand out. The animal came to her. "There we are," she said quietly. "We found each other." And that was the beginning. And before we continue, how about you? What have you been ignoring?